Hi, only me again, Andrew D. And following the sad loss of Caroline Flack, the TV presenter, over the weekend, which I'm sure many of you here in the UK woke up to that news on Sunday morning. This sort of leads me into an area about. Oh, by the way, I've stopped. Leads me into an area of one of the frequently asked questions I do get by people about when somebody sadly takes their own life. You know, how long, what happens to them on the other side? Are they in spirit? Are they treated differently to other people? Somehow, I believe it or not, the questions I get asked are: do they go to another place? Are they not allowed to come back to us before a certain time? And when do people come back through after they've gone to the other side of life, the higher side of life, world of spirit? But let's deal with this in two parts first. Firstly, the loss, and no, tell you what, let's turn this around because I'd like to finish on a positive note. First of all, when people go to spirit, regardless of what they've done, they go to a place, and depending on how their lives have been, what they've done here, how they lived their lives, how they've conducted their lives, it's very much about what they've done while they were here. So let's just say somebody's been bad. People have to come to a point on the other side where they almost acknowledge and come to terms with maybe the things they've done in this life, and maybe those people they've helped, or those people they haven't helped, or those people they've not been very nice to. Let's just leave it there. So they have to sort of come to that terms, and that's when the light comes in. It's not that they go to a dark place or a bad place. It's when the light comes in, when they start to acknowledge where they've been at in this life, and that's when the enlightenment comes in, and when their awakening comes in as well. Now, the big question over people who take their own lives, somehow are they treated differently? No, if anything, they were in a place where they felt there was no way out of their situation, as did Caroline Flack. There was no way out of the situation. There was nobody could help them. There's nobody could do anything for them, and they just couldn't see a way forward for themselves. And all they wanted to do was basically end the pain. End the pain they were in, and their own suffering. And they were in such a place that somehow they couldn't acknowledge what was going to be left behind them, or who was going to be hurt, but left whoever they hurt when they left them behind. Because I do work with a lot of people whose loved ones have taken their own lives, so this is anecdotal knowledge for me, things that people have told me, not my own experiences, apart from meeting those people. So those people who get to the other side, they come back through. They've come back through to me in no time at all, weeks, days, months. But that leads me on to the other question: how long does spirit normally take to come back through? Do they have a little rest on the other side? Do they go and be somewhere nice where they can relax and recuperate? I've heard some stories from mediums who said, they're having a little rest and they can't come through yet because they're tired after their transition. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now that I have sat with families, one family in particular, and it still makes me laugh to this day, because although mom had passed away, mom had a long illness, and it was a relief in a way, a release that mom had passed. And we laughed and we joked about mum, the things she'd done, the places they'd been to together, those memories, those things that spirit bring back to us to say, look, I'm alive, I'm fine, and I'm proving it by telling Andrew D these things about me and you, because he just wouldn't know this, but I'm telling you, I'm telling him. And this one particular occasion, this lady and her 3 daughters said, we're off to see mum now. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, love the reading. Bye now. We're off to see mum. And I was like, huh? What? Explain. And we'd been together for about an hour, reminiscing and laughing about mum. And it was only then that the mum and the daughter and the granddaughters, I should say, They said, well, Mom's in the funeral home. We've not had the funeral yet. We haven't buried her yet. So that was within a few days of Mom passing that she came through, which blew me away. But conversely, I've had it take a lot longer. One particular lady, I told her, she had to let her husband go. She couldn't hold on to him. And she said, I can't, Andrew. I can't let him go. I will never let him go. And I said, well, you're holding him back. You're holding yourself back. And I thought it was quite recently because this pain felt so raw and real and everything. And she said, no, it's 42 years since he passed. He passed away 42 years ago, but it feels like yesterday. And yet I could feel that rawness from this lady. And to me, I thought it had been a real recent passing, which it just hadn't. So what's the short answer? How long it takes somebody to come through? Well, no time at all, but the answer lies with you, the recipient, because that pain that you've suffered, that hole that's been left in your life, that grief, everything that comes with it, the pain, the anxiety, the anger, the resentment, anything and everything that comes with the loss of somebody creates a block. And it's only when, need to fill up here, it's only when you come to terms with that, you learn to grow with it, or you learn to, I wouldn't say accept it, more come to terms with it. It's only when that starts to happen, that's when spirit can communicate with us, actually with you, through me, because I am just the meat in the sandwich. I am that telephone to the spirit world. I am literally the person that connects you two together. And imagine a telephone. Imagine Mom calls today and she says, Andrew, I'm here, will you tell them I want to have a word? I want to have a word with them, and I need to speak to them. And you feel unable to make that connection. You feel unable to talk on the telephone because the pain, the anger, the resentment, whatever it may be, and because you can't open your heart, because you can't communicate, because you can't allow yourself to be open and accept, if you like, that's when the block comes in. Now listen, I've told this story a million times, and if you've ever seen cartoons, now if you're old enough to remember Rooster, Foghorn Leghorn, the rooster, and when he was in love you'd see a heart go ba-boom, ba-boom. Hearts have been scientifically proven to give out the largest magnetic resonance, i.e. the biggest electric signal in the body when you're happy. What do you think happens when you're sad, when you're upset, when you've lost somebody? All of those emotions come in. Rather than being big and open and communicative, your heart is like this. It's like you're holding on to everything. So it's not a case of forgetting your loved ones. It's not a case of letting them go. It's not a case of forgetting them. It's more feeling like you can talk about them, laugh about them, connect with them through me, and not feel sad or desperately upset. Okay, there will be tears. It's tears of happiness, tears of healing, but the main thing is as well is that if you can feel like you can communicate, when you're ready to do that, that's when spirit comes in. So it could be 3 days, it could be 5 days, it could be 40 years, but it's when you're ready. That's the short answer, but I had to walk you through all the rest. Okay, so I really hope that helps a little bit with those people, sadly, like Caroline Flack, who lost her life at the weekend. What happens to them when they get to the other side, because they've come back and told me, and also people who've passed under many other different circumstances. How long does it take for them to come through? It can be any time at all. It's when you're ready. And I'll leave those lovely thoughts with you, with the blessings of spirit and your loved ones, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye bye for now.